And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection. I'm your host, Robert Pictou. Our show today comes to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Tsimshian people. They don't view their profession as work like most people do. For firefighters, their profession is their identity. It is who they are. They live their firefighter lives daily for all to see. We begin today's Open Connection with Terrace Fire Chief Chad Cooper.
We started the process, would have been late fall last year. We noticed there's a big gap in with our residents on what do they do after a fire. So they've accessed ESS, they've been put up in a hotel, but can you make access back into your building? Who do you contact? How do you go about getting new IDs if you say your IDs and all your wallets are damaged in the fire? How do you access a fire report? And how do you access your insurance? If your clothes are smoke damaged, what's the process of cleaning your clothes? What should be thrown away and replaced? So we really seen a need there, so we initiated the After the Fire program. So we give them actual booklet that kind of thoroughly explains what to do after a fire and how to recover from that tragic. The second part of the program is after the fire's investigation is wrapped up, I try to get a cause and origin of the fire. And what we do is we target that immediate neighborhood around the fire. We go door knocking with the firefighters on duty, and they say, hey, there's a fire down there. Everyone evacuated. There's no injuries. This is the cause of the fire, and we offer a free home fire safety inspection. So we'll actually check their smoke alarms. They have some extinguishers, would do some route planning and figure out where their meeting spot is so they're easily identifiable when the firefighters show up to scene. And we found well received. Everyone's welcoming, have the firefighters in, check their smoke alarms. We've actually found a couple of residents that had expired smoke alarms. They found the process very helpful. They always have questions like, should we be eating our dry goods that are in the pantry? And it's even the slightest little smoke damage, it's contaminated. You can't eat it. Even how to properly decontaminate your clothes instead of throwing away, it still might be worth keeping around and cleaning properly. So we are going to continue with the program. We're always looking to improve the program. And looking for feedback from residents and residents that haven't been affected with the fire. So I did bring it up regionally with the other chiefs, and they're very interested in our program. So we're working with the other fire departments in the region and trying to establish the same type of program. Yes, this is a huge investment into our firefighters and the overall response capability of the fire department. We're well supported through Mayor and Council and administration here at City Hall. So I want to thank both Mayor and Council and administration for their help with this project. We're going to see massive improvements in our operational capabilities on fire scenes. We're going to improve our firefighter health and safety on scenes, and specifically from a command role, being able to have the Bluetooth communications. Any fire scene, the first thing to break down is the communications. They're very poor on fire scenes with background noise, poor connections. With the Bluetooth comms, we'll have crystal clear communications. So as an incident commander running a fire scene, I'm looking forward to having those reliable communications so I can keep track of all my staff in the emergency scene. I know Prince Rupert is currently going through the process, and also Thornhill Volunteer Fire Department is. So as chiefs in the region, we're all kind of talking about our replacement cycles and kind of planning. So we're all kind of replacing at the same time, and then with mutual aid having our equipment cross-compatible. So if there was a major week-long incident here, we could pull from resources around the region. I gave lots of good feedback to the Chief Beckwith and Prince Rupert about our selection process and our thorough evaluations and our committee work that our firefighters did. We also working with a supplier, really being fiscal responsible for our taxpayers and getting the best bang for our buck, and while improving our operations and saving the taxpayers money.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Thank you for staying with us. Bunker gear or turnout gear is the term used by many fire departments to refer to the protective clothing worn by firefighters. The name bunker gear was derived from the fact that the pants and boots were traditionally kept in the firefighter's bunk at the fire station and ready for use. Let us return to the conversation with Fire Chief Cooper.
I know Prince Rupert has selected the same manufacturer as us, so as chiefs, we lean heavily on the manufacturer and the sales consultant to really give us the best bang of our buck. So we're not mismanaging taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. Thornhill has done the same process. They have a committee. They've had manufacturers come in and do wear trials and training. They're just going through the budgeting process right now, so they haven't selected yet, but things are looking good. So. Currently, Terrace Fire Department is actively recruiting in the recruiting process for 2 more career firefighters. The plan is to have the 2 new firefighters ready for active duty end April, early May, where they can hit the streets and start protecting the community. We're also, with this budget cycle, we just initiated back in January, our paid on call program from the volunteer program we ran before. So still volunteer, but you actually, the volunteers will be getting paid for attending weekly fire practice, any outside fire training courses, and they'll also be getting paid per hour for attending emergency scenes. So the goal of this program is to help with the cost of fuel and transportation to get to the fire hall, to be an active paid-on-call firefighter. Also, if say a Tuesday night fire practice, to reduce the barrier, say if they had a small child and they had to put them in daycare or get a babysitter in, then those costs would help free up their schedule so they could actually volunteer. Our application period is open until the first week of April. At that point, we're going to be going through another testing phase. There's a physical fitness evaluation and an interview to get on. So we're actively recruiting. We're gonna have our current paid on call members hanging posters and doing some info sessions throughout the community. Safeway have a little table set up. So we're really struggling trying to fill those paid on call slots. Right now we're actively at 6 members, so we're trying to get up to around 15 or 20 paid on calls. So we're actively trying to recruit through the community here. I recommend anybody that might be interested and wanted to find out more information, feel free to stop by the fire hall. They can call the line, the admin line, and we'll provide you details. We can also set up a little walk around the fire hall and give you the full aspect before you commit in the application process.
My name is Joel Roussan. I'm the Deputy Fire Chief of Training and Operations for Terrace Fire. One of the big aspects of the packs that I most appreciate is, as a chief officer, ensuring that we have safety of our members is paramount. You know, the phrase, every man goes home, every woman goes home at the end of the day, that holds very true to myself and to Chief Cooper. In regards to having equipment and operations that will allow our members to be safe in a fire, outside of a fire, and to get home at nighttime. And so, you know, the flexibility, the functionality, the operations of these packs are very current with progressive practices within the fire service. So for us to have these packs gives myself, like I said, as a chief officer, peace of mind knowing that I can communicate clearly, concisely, and in good standing with the members when they're in a situation that is difficult to work within, which is the nature of the job at most every call that we attend. But when it comes to the decon carcinogens that get collected onto the pack, these packs allow us to clean better, ensuring that we're not having the carcinogens sticking with our firefighters. The actual breathing apparatus portion of it has a built-in exhalation that allows everything to be deferred away from the body, away from the lungs, away from the actual breathing in to the human. So that's a really big aspect of these packs. What I can say is the pack is about 3 pounds lighter. The pack is on the body a much more comfortable fit. And so if I were to have a crystal ball, I would say that our membership would get into these packs quicker, and every second counts when it comes to a fire and when it comes to operations within an incident. So there's a lifetime warranty that comes through the manufacturer on the pack, but 15 years is the limit that we would run them up into. And at that point, we would again stay progressive within the fire service. And at that point, there's going to be other new pieces of material, of parts on the packs that are going to be conducive to the actual scenes that we see and the incidents that we attend. One of the things that drew me into the fire service, and I believe a lot of other people, is not just the reward of helping the community, but you get to have some really cool equipment that you can work with, and to throw pack on, to be in a big red fire truck. At the end of the day, going to help somebody else, that's the best part of it. But being comfortable and knowing that operationally you have good equipment, that's a big part of the job, and it's a fun part of the job. On behalf of the Terrace Fire Department, we're very thankful to Mayor and Council for allowing us this opportunity, to the City Manager for supporting this initiative. Chief Cooper and myself, again, want to stay progressive. We want to ensure safety of our membership, and this is something that allows me to sleep good at night, knowing that I have membership that are going to be in best practices with the current trends. And when the call comes for service, we have the right equipment to help with that. So we're very thankful. The entire department is thankful for this.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. The Self-Contained Breathing Apparatus, or SCBA, is the foundational tool that provides the greatest amount of airway protection from toxic gas and harmful particulates resulting from a fire. The SCBA is comprised of 4 parts: regulator, cylinder, backplate and harness, and facepiece. Let us return the conversation with Fire Captain Williner.
We're getting ready to put our new SCBA packs in the service. It was a 2-year project that we worked on where we replaced our fill station and compressor, and then we've replaced all our breathing packs for the entire department. This is the big part of the project here. They're aging out as one of the big problems. We've moved to some newer technology. These packs bring some new communication things to the firefighters that we didn't have before, which is really important. We were finding that was one of our biggest breakdowns on fire scenes. So having better communication just makes it much safer for everybody on scene. Probably spent a good part of the last year testing all the major manufacturers that are out there right now in the industry. We probably spent a solid month with each pack, putting them through their paces. And then we basically had a committee with all the firefighters in play to give their opinions. And after everything was done, this was the pack that we came down to wanting to use. So it had the most amount of features that we could get that everybody wanted. This past Tuesday, we did an in-service, and we did 2 sessions of in-service with the manufacturer, and we've got everybody trained up, and hopefully tonight or in the next day or 2, these packs will be in service with the department.
Along with the SCBA packs, an important component of any time you are in SCBA means that if you can't leave a hazardous environment for whatever the reason, we have what's called a RIT pack, a Rapid Intervention Team pack. So within that pack, there's a cylinder along with the various fittings and connections that allows that pack to fill one of the SCBA packs on a downed firefighter. So if that downed firefighter was running low on air, they were stuck, they were pinned, we could come in with that pack and transfer air to their pack to allow them more time, allow us more time to get them out of that hazardous environment. So that was another upgrade. We had two new RIT packs to our collection. So a pretty big improvement with these packs compared to our old packs is what's called a voice amplifier built into the mask with an external speaker. So that allows us as firefighters working within the same room to more easily talk to each other without having to lean into each other's ear or be really close together. It amplifies the voice in our mask and projects it out into the room. The other added feature is there's a Bluetooth connection to our fire radios that allows us to communicate to command or teams outside of that room considerably easier and considerably more clear than our previous pack. Before, with our previous mask, you're literally just trying to speak loudly through a whole bunch of plastic and rubber. These ones actually have mics right in the mask themselves that pick up whatever we're saying and transmit it through our radios to whoever might be listening. With this order, we ordered, I believe it was 63?
Yes.
63 extra cylinders to complement our 21 packs. Correct? 23 packs. There you go, 23 packs. So yes, that allows us multiple bottle changes, which are now much easier with these bottles being a quick connect style. So before we had to literally screw it on like you would screw on like a bottle cap on a bottle. These ones actually just press in, little quarter tune, and they snap right on. So they're a lot quicker for us to change, and we have a lot of spares in case it's a long duration incident. Fairly similar, like it's all going to be driven by the air consumption rate of the individual in the pack. The bottle rating is what is often used in our fire services, 45 minutes. But 45 minutes generally means you're sitting at a desk doing very low output activity. Generally, the working time for a pack like this or a cylinder this size is around 20 to 30 minutes of actual, doing stuff on a fire scene. But again, if it's something where you're trapped and you're able to control your breathing, it can extend that out considerably. People have been an hour in a 45-minute pack. But general rule of thumb is about 20 to 30 minutes in a cylinder, and then come out, change it, and go back in if need be. But ergonomic-wise, these are a considerable upgrade from our previous packs. Our previous packs had just a basic webbing, slightly padded waist belt. This has an articulating waist belt, so it actually pivots with your waist as you move about. It also has 3 adjustable height settings, so for different length torsos, as well as just a more, I guess the best way to describe it, a more padding all around the pack. So it's a lot more ergonomically comfortable. It's able to pivot when you move, and it's also able to adjust to different size firefighters. About 3 pounds lighter than our previous packs. So every pound counts, especially if you're raising your arms above, trying to pull ceiling or something like that. It's definitely a considerable, you notice every pound that's added on to your pack. So 3 pounds lighter is definitely noticeable.
Basically, it's a mound down system. So if a firefighter gets injured, incapacitated, and they don't move for 30 seconds, the pack will go into an alarm. It's extremely loud, so the incoming RIT team can find them. And on the back of the pack, there's multiple lights that displays the air level to the fellow firefighters if they're working on a team, and so on and so forth. So it's just a more heads-up system, so everybody's aware of where everybody's air level is without having to ask each other what's going on and where their air level's at. We've done some practicing at our fire training building, but we haven't used them in a live fire scenario yet. So like I said, hopefully they'll be in service either tonight or in the next day or two, and when the call comes, and we'll get them into a live fire. It's a good training center or training session. They'll be in blackout conditions all the time, so we'll see how it goes.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
In 2008, in the fall of 2008, flames ripped through a low-income housing hotel. In this final segment of Open Connection, we open our archives to then Fire Chief Pete Weber as he shares how the Skeena Hotel fire created a dangerous situation for firefighters.
The old Skeena Hotel and Terrace, built in the early 1930s, was wiped out completely by flames early this morning. Fire officials arrived on scene just after 4 a.m. and saw smoke bellowing out from many areas. They found the starting point of the fire in the basement, but determined it was not safe to attack directly because of a one-way in, one-way out situation. By just after 6 a.m., fire crews had the blaze contained to the hotel side and were working hard to save the attached liquor store.
At this point, total loss. We ordered a machine to knock down the one side to protect the beer and wine store, and we're focusing on protecting all the buildings around it. It's an old building, very dangerous, not up to current codes, so caution is our number one in safety. But yeah, the guys doing a fantastic job. Terrace, Thornhill firefighters, very well trained, and they got it under control.
Those final flames were eventually put out just after 7 a.m. this morning, but because of the enormity of the fire and how quick it went up, fire officials won't be able to determine a cause of the blaze for several days.
At this level of damage, there's no way. It's undetermined. We know approximately where it started in the basement area, move very quickly. Not much we can do. No way of finding out. You'd have to be able to stop it in its early stages, and in this case, we weren't being able to. So.
Ed Carrero, a Terrace resident, watched the hotel burn in the early hours. He says he'll miss all the memories he's had over the years at one of Terrace's only downtown pubs.
Got a lot of memories of going in there and having a couple beers and eating the Christmas Yuletides that they used to have in there. So it's kind of a sad thing to see it go, you know, but and I was here even when the Terrace Hotel burned down, the original one, which was actually an old looking building like that, looked more like a house than it did a hotel at that time. So I guess this is it. That's the last pub in downtown Terrace, Lily.
Over 20 firefighters from Terrace and Thornhill were on the scene until the fire was out. And while the Skeena has been around for quite some time, it's the age of the building that really made it susceptible to such an extreme fire.
Obviously, Skeena has been around a long time, but it's an old building, not to current building standards, and by all accounts, not a really safe place to be in. You know, at night even there was people staying here. They were lucky to get out, but again, fire moves very quickly in a building of this age. It's insured, so, you know, hopefully we'll see a new building here in the future.
Weber adds he doesn't have the details on how the 3 people in the building escaped safely, but says like any building, smoke detectors, lit up hallways, and exit signs help people escape safely. For now, fire officials and security will stay on scene overnight until an adjuster and insurance companies show up tomorrow to determine the next step. For CFTK-TV News in Terrace, I'm Andrew Deans.
Lifters at the Toboggan Creek Fish Hatchery near Smithers are busy these days. If they're not gathering data from spawning steelhead, they're releasing this year's Chinook.
Looks like looks like quite a few fish in the creek so far. Quite a few previously tagged fish, which we'll find out, you know, after the project's done, we'll find out where they were tagged initially. I think we've had about 60 fish, and probably about 10 of those are previously tagged fish. So we'll learn a bit about movements and, you know, where these fish tend to fall or where they were tagged in the ocean before they migrated upstate. Okay, well, this tag's injected in their back, and it'll remain, you know, in them as a permanent record of the fact that they were tagged at this point. And then if they're recaptured again at anywhere else, you know, we'll know that that was the same fish that we tagged here.
After studying these fish near the end of their life cycles, O'Neill is off to the Upper Bulkley to release the fish just beginning theirs.
They're at the stage now where they're ready to migrate down to the ocean. So we'll just release them, and within 5 or 6 weeks they'll be in the ocean.
And in a matter of minutes, about 4,000 Chinook are on their way. By the end of May, a total of 83,000 will have been released.
You know, it's very rewarding to see the fish come back as adults after you've raised them and released them. And the ones that do survive are coming back to spawn. So that's, you know, that's what the hatcheries are for.
Willis Waters, First News, Houston.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, with connection from his mind and heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Robert Pictou.